Joining me is Chris Retzler, Needham Fund's Managing Director. Chris, it's great to see you. Let's start with, if you want to respond to the discussion we were just having, what are you bracing for or anticipating from the Fed this year?
So what we are facing is a lot more volatility as the Fed is taking accommodation out of the market. There's certainly a lot of discussion as to how many rate hikes there are going to be, how the yield curve is flattening. The flattening is concerning, further out because that just shows, slowing growth. But I think that there's some other factors that we really want to pay attention to, and we're hearing from companies, in earnings season that's already gotten started, is, how are the supply chains, component shortages, things like that are right now quite inflationary. You even look into agriculture, energy, very inflationary right now. What are we going to do to improve those situations? So I think that there's a lot of variables that can be adjusted throughout the course of the year. And I think that that's what the Fed is going to be dependent upon, is the data. But for investors in equities, the multiples that we got to over the past couple of years was very much driven by this accommodation. So we are cautious as that accommodation is removed. And I think that investors need to take a longer term view. But with pullbacks like we've seen in January, we were finding some areas that we could deploy some money.
Yeah. So again, you are cautious. I think we're all watching, feeling that way a little bit. So let's talk about some of the stocks that you like here. You like some of the semi-capital equipment names. You like some of the build out, for wireless communications and that sort of thing. What are some stocks you think people can buy right here?
So you're exactly right. Semi-cap equipment is in almost a renaissance. And what we heard from Intel looking to build out in Ohio the past few days is really fantastic for the country. And I think that if Congress can get around to passing the CHIPS Act for semiconductor manufacturing, I think that's going to be a great tailwind for that area. Companies we like there for larger cap investors is, Lam Research, Applied Materials. But if you want to drill down into some of the, kind of mid-cap areas, a company we like is MKS Instruments. It's going through right now an acquisition of a smaller business that's a platform. And we think once that gets behind it, they're going to be able to drive the synergies and the growth. But again, a lot of semi-cap equipment is facing shortages of components. Yeah. And it's really amazing. You need the equipment to alleviate those pressures. But they're not able to get the components. So there's some stuff that should be done in that area.